Hi everyone, I hope you're well today. Welcome to another episode of The Unorthodox Investor, where today I'm going to be showing you how you can earn £100 a month in dividends every month. And it works in every currency. If you're in dollars, you can earn $100 a month. If you're in rupees, earn 100 rupees a month. The same tool applies and the same method applies. So first of all, what is a dividend? Now, it's important to understand that. So a dividend is part of a company, part of the profits left over from a company when a company does trade. So if Apple makes an iPhone and sells it for $1,000, then it might make $300 profit on that iPhone. And some of that profit, it may decide to pay back to shareholders. So if Apple decides to pay back $150 to shareholders, then that would come in the form of a dividend. That would be paid in cash, and it would essentially go into your bank account. And that's kind of how it works. It's the leftover profits from a company. And that's a great way to invest and to look at investing. And actually, a lot of people base their investments around about dividends. There are a lot of dividend investors out there, and you've probably heard all about this because it's all over YouTube. There are lots of pros and lots of cons. And I personally love dividends. I love dividend stocks because it kind of proves that the company is making profit. If the company isn't making any profit, then it cannot pay out any dividends. So that's why you'll see a lot of growth companies. Good examples would be Amazon. Would be a great example of that, and they've been growing for a long period of time. I'm not sure whether they're actually paying dividends at the moment, but they never ever used to. They always put that money back into the company. I don't believe they are. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I don't think they've ever paid a dividend because they put that money back into the company. So there are different types of companies, but dividend stocks are particularly exciting because they're generating lots of money that they want to give back to you as the shareholder. So that's what excites me, because you can see that money coming in. It appears as a number in your bank account, and it's actual cash that you can take out and you can spend if you want. And that's what a lot of financial independence or financial freedom models are based around, is that you take some of that money out and then you can spend it and live on it while maintaining your total balance, your kind of capital. If you've got 100,000 pounds in as capital, and your dividends are 10%, then that means you get £10,000 every single year, and you could spend that £10,000 and you would still have the 100,000. That's the theory anyway. So let's dive in and have a little look at what it would take to earn some dividends. So this is my model that I use on a daily basis when I'm calculating my investments or just having a look at what investments I might want to make. I've selected a bunch of companies from the FTSE 100. Some of them you might recognise. We've got BP at the top. We've got Lloyds, HSBC, where the ticker is actually HSBA for some reason, Rio Tinto, Aviva, British American Tobacco, BT Group, BAE Systems, a defence company, Persimmon Homes, home builder, Vodafone, a telecommunications company, and Admiral, which is into insurance. So these companies they've been on my watch list for years and years and years. So these are the companies I probably know the best. So I tend to keep track of them. And what this model does is it shows you what dividends the company is currently paying. So at the moment, BP is paying just over 21 pence a year. It's a little bit more complicated than that with some companies, because BP, HSBC and Rio Tinto, amongst others, pay their dividend in dollars or cents. And so as you can see here, HSBC pay roughly about 36 cents, US cents a year. And that's then translated into pounds at a later date. So I'm just using the currency rate as of today to calculate that dividend in pence. Then what you want to do is you want to compare it to the share price. So we've got the current share price of BP, and that gives us a dividend yield. So the dividend yield is just the dividend divided by the share price, and that's as a percentage. So every single year you should be earning 4% if you invested right now in BP. That dividend is then paid out either twice a year or quarterly. The most common way that companies pay is biannually, so twice a year. Sorry, quarterly is more rare, but I quite like quarterly because then you're just getting drip fed a little bit more money now and again. So there's a couple of companies on this list, namely BP and British American Tobacco, which pay quarterly, which is quite nice. So we'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a moment, but let's see what happens if we plug in a little investment. So let's say we've got £1,000 and we're wanting to put that into an investment in BP. So that would get us 199 shares, which is quite a nice number. Built into this model is a transaction fee of £6. That's how much it costs with my broker, xo.co.uk. And so that means instead of being 500 divided by 1,000, instead of being 200, you have to pay a fee to buy shares. So thus we're only getting 199 shares, and that's giving us a dividend of £42 every year. Okay, so that's because it's a 4.2% dividend yield. Now, if the share price goes up or down or left or right, then what we can see is that because we haven't purchased it yet, it means the dividend, if we purchased BP at £7.50, then we would be getting a much less dividend. Whereas if we're purchasing BP at 500, then you're getting a £42 dividend. Now, one of the common confusions is, if the share price goes up or down, that means my dividend is affected. Well, actually, it doesn't mean that at all, right? Because here's what we're going to do. We're going to put that into our current holding, right? So we've now bought it, all right? So we now own these shares in BP, right? So current holding, current investment. Sorry, I got those the wrong way around. Let's do current investment of £1,000, and our current holding is 199 shares. Okay, so just like we said, so we've got a dividend of £42. Okay, now let's increase the share price to 600. Okay, so our dividend stays exactly the same. Let's decrease the share price to 100. The share price, the dividend stays exactly the same. And the reason that the dividend stays exactly the same is because you've locked in that dividend yield as soon as you've purchased it. Okay, so this is what's super great about a dividend yield, is that once you kind of locked it in, it stays. So when the prices go down, when the prices of stocks go way down, say it goes down to 100 pence on BP right now, right? The dividend yield is 21%. So if you whack in an investment, then it doesn't matter if that share price goes all the way back up. You're still getting 21%. And you've made money on the capital. So dividends are just absolutely magic in this respect. Now, of course, everybody says this, and it's of course super true, is that dividends can be cut. A company can not make as much cash, they can not make as much profit, and they can decide, oh, we're not going to pay any dividend. So if BP pays 0 dividend, you don't get anything. And that is the reality. However, what I would say is, in lots of the videos I've ever watched, this is a big thing, and they say, the dividend's not certain, dividend's not certain, dividend's not certain. It isn't certain, but they aren't cut that much, They are just not cut that much. And in fact, the opposite tends to happen. The dividend actually goes up. So I have purchased BP shares, and I was getting a roughly about 5% dividend on those, and I purchased at different prices up and down, and now my yield on BP is 7%. So I'm earning dividends of 7% of everything I've put in. And if I buy more shares now, I'm getting 4%, okay? But because of what's happened, and when the dividend's going up, you're actually getting better return on your investment. And the dividend's probably going to go up by about 4% this next year as well, which means if you invest now, you're going to get this dividend yield plus an extra 4% on top of that as well. So it should, like, dividends compound upon themselves as well, which is absolutely incredible, right? So let's get on to how you're going to make £1,000, £1,200 a year and £100 a month in dividends. So let's see if we can save up enough money and we can put in £1,000 into 7 companies. So I've just split them across. In fact, let's put £1,000 in all the companies on our list, right? So that's 11 companies. We've got £1,000 in each company. Now, of course, that's a big feat. £11,000 doesn't come easily, so you're going to have to start very small. You're going to start with £500 in one company, okay? And then what you're going to do is once you've saved up another £500, you're going to invest another £500. And you're going to invest in £500 segments. And by the time you have got £11,000 saved up within these companies, and dividends will help. It'll help you to save up this £1,000. You will be earning £809 per year, okay, when you've got £1,000 in these 11 companies at these prices. And you can see the dividend yields are pretty hefty, you know, in some of them. BP is 4%, Lloyd's is 7%, Rio Tinto is 10.3%, and then we're going to talk about Persimmon as 18%, right? This is a bit of a ridiculous dividend yield. Now, some companies, when they get into a little bit of trouble, what happens is they have paid a high dividend in the past and their share price will go down because investors see that the company is not doing as well. And what that means is the company might make less profit, might make less cash, and therefore they might have to reduce their dividend. So if Persimmon has to reduce its dividend, you can see that the dividend yield might come down quite a lot. But still, it looks like if it was to cut it, it still looks like you'd still get, you know, a little bit of a dividend, potentially, as long as they don't reduce it to zero. So you can see here that you would be earning £809 per year investing across all of these companies, and you would be earning a dividend yield of 7.36%. Now, I don't know of any bank account paying 7.36% interest. And what this means is that if the share prices go up, if the share prices go down, it makes absolutely no difference. You should be getting this exact yield, apart from probably Persimmon, which is the kind of one dodgy one in here. Apart from that, you should be getting around £67 a month. Okay, so let's bump these up a little bit more, and let's say if you're going to invest, let's see what it would take to earn £1,200 per year and £100 per month. You can see that it would take around about, and I've spread this amount across many different companies. Okay, so we've spread our investment across 8 companies there, and you can see that it takes round about £20,000, so around about £19,200 to earn £100 a month. But that means that you will keep your £19,200. You should do, as long as the market doesn't go absolutely crazy, and you'll be making £100 every single month for the rest of the time. That's the plan, right? And actually, what happens is, okay, so if you can manage to save up that amount and invest that amount, and you can put this whole amount in a stocks and shares ISA, because the limit per year is 20,000. So if you haven't used up any ISA allowance at all, and you've got this money sitting there, you should be getting that into an ISA, investing in really solid companies like FTSE 100 companies, and getting yourself these dividends. So next year, right? You've spent your whole year just biding your time, waiting. You've made your investment, and you end up with an extra £1,219. Okay, so you're going to put that in Persimmon, £1,219, and then what happens? Okay, so your dividends have gone up. So the next year, you're actually getting £1,438. So at the end of the year, you think, right, okay, cool, right, I'm going to put that into Persimmon as well. Okay, and bump up your investment in there, 1438. Okay, and you can see again, your dividends, of course, have gone up because you're reinvesting those dividends back into the companies that are paying more dividends. So this is where compound really takes effect. Okay, so it's 1697. You think, okay, right, I will put it into Persimmon as well, 1697. The year after, you think, right, okay, right, I've got too much in Persimmon, I'm going to put something in another company. Let's go for Rio Tinto. So you put in the £2,002 into Rio Tinto, and then you've got £2,207. So you decide, right, okay, let's diversify a little bit more, and let's pop that into Lloyd's, 2207, and then before you know it, 5 years later, you are earning almost £200 a month. And you know what? You've not put any more money in. You started off with £19,200 and you put no more money in, and you were earning £100 a month, and now you're earning almost £200 a month. And that is how crazy dividend investing is. Now, couple that with putting more money in as well. So once you've got to that 19,200, any more savings you have over the next 5 years, drip feed those in as well, and then the compounding really takes effect and you'll see those numbers really start to grow. So that's how dividend investing works. The one thing I would say is absolutely important is to focus on company performance. So have a look at the companies you're investing in. How are they going to do in the next 2 to 3 years? That's your sort of time horizon. And then next year, do the same exercise again. Have a look at all the companies you own and say, how are they going to do over the next 2 to 3 years? And see kind of what's going to happen. So let's take an example. Let's take Persimmon. Interest rates are going up, as we know, and that means that the housing market it could be faltering. House prices are predicted to go down, house sales are predicted to go down, and that could affect Persimmon because Persimmon needs to sell houses to make money. Okay, very, very simple things. So that's why the Persimmon share price has gone down. Let's take, for example, Lloyd's Bank. Lloyd's Bank, interest rates are going up. Banks tend to make more money when interest rates go up because they make a better interest margin on their money. That's how banks make money, by taking money from the central bank at a low interest rate and lending it out to us as consumers at a higher rate, and they make the difference. So banks should make more money. It's a general assumption. But these general assumptions are kind of all you really need to go upon, and you'll do well. So hopefully that gives you a wee bit of encouragement to invest and earn £100 a month in dividends. So let me know when you get there. It's a really exciting place to be if you can earn £100 a month for free every single month. So let me know how you get on, guys. This is super exciting stuff. So as usual, you will see 2 of my videos here. Please do like and subscribe. Really helps the channel. And oops, just hit the microphone there. So all the best, and I will see you in the next video.